Gold, the ancient alchemy of spiritual ascension with Zack Zublena. Ever wonder why gold is revered in ancient traditions across the globe? From the Egyptians to the Incas, gold has symbolized purity, spiritual achievement, and a bridge to the divine. Join us as we explore this timeless connection surrounding ancient wisdom with Zack, a visionary healing artist, speaker, and author of The Sacred Frequency of Gold. His journey is marked by a life-altering near-death experience, creating an unyielding passion for uniquely utilizing gold. He shares his discoveries of how gold body painting, breathwork, and art can bring us closer to our spiritual essence. Welcome to the Wellness Driven Life Show, where you're about to go on a wellness driven ride. Welcome. Let me share a little bit about the incredible guests that we have with us today. Zack Zublena is a healing artist, speaker, and author who guides individuals to discover their divine gifts and connect with their higher self through the transformative power of gold frequency art. Following a near-death experience, he integrates ancient wisdom and modern healing modalities to facilitate ascension and healing. He is the author of The Sacred Frequencies of Gold, and I am so pleased to help welcome to our stage today, Zack Zublena. Welcome.
Nice to be here, April. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. I loved it, and you are like right on. I mean, it's really what I do. It's really who I am. I appreciate it. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. I'm so excited to have you here too. We're going to have a great conversation because not too many of us, including myself, know about all of those healing aspects of gold, including the traditional, the historical pieces of it, utilizing it to ascend to higher realms, that real spiritual aspect of it. Now, we all are attracted to gold, right? If you say that you're not, I just don't know if I can believe that, because it is this powerful, incredible piece of the earth that we have that we are so drawn to. It's shiny. There's something about it, something about the qualities that's really awe-inspiring. And we utilize it through so many things, like our wedding bands. It's that symbolism of, being with somebody, loving somebody, that sacred heart chakra. So I'm so excited to dive in. Let's get started by sharing a little bit about yourself so the audience can get to know you more.
Yeah, thank you, April. So gold actually originates from the depth of space, and we think it comes from Earth. It does, but it doesn't. Originally, it comes from the depth of space. It's formed during supernova explosions, so when stars explode, and then it becomes embedded in the planet's crust through geological timescales. So now we can say with confidence that gold actually comes from deep within Earth, but we know why, because it comes from up there. And then there's no mystery that it reflects the color of the sun. And in many traditions, so just to back up and to like talk about what you were saying, actually, only in the Western world we consider gold as a material asset. And all I knew about gold, being French, now I'm American, I've been living here for 16 years and loving it, is that 1 ounce of gold is $2,800. That's all we know. And then we don't know the spiritual significance of gold. Like in Mesopotamia in 3500 BC, they fully understood that power. Ancient Egypt, same thing. And today, even in Hinduism or Buddhism, they fully understand the power of gold. And even 15th century, in the Incas or the Mesoamerica, they use gold to ascend as well. So it's extremely powerful, and it's really an essential tool to ask for divine favor and really ascending. That's what they use it for.
Wow. Absolutely fascinating. And so how did you come into this? How did you,
nice
did you
story.
just, yes, I
How
mean,
long, how long
did
do
you
we have? Hold
research
on, what time
this?
is it?
Well,
Okay.
I know and I have to guide people to your website because it's fascinating. And you do have, I'm going to put you in solo mode here in a minute. Those pictures, those photographs that we can see a little bit behind you, just fascinating. And the website that you have shows so many incredible, beautiful
Thank you.
pieces that you create. So I want to guide people there first off. And the long story is there. And so if you want to read up more, but we're going to briefly touch on that because Zack, you had this extraordinary experience and you can touch on that previously to it. So you were attracted. This is what I love about stories. You were attracted to utilizing gold within your art practice originally. Previously, and then it just heightened. You had this heightening experience that brought you to where you're at today.
That's correct. So I've been a photographer for the longest time, and 2013 already, I wanted to paint. I wanted to do nude. I was attracted to like nude form, nude bodies. I wanted to like. I was looking for dancers because dancers, they have a certain way to express themselves. It's always very interesting what they're able to do with their body. Like if you put me naked in front of a camera, it's going to be a little dull. You know what I mean? But they are like, they're very comfortable, and the way they move, and all of a sudden they express a lot of things. And at the time I was married to my first wife, and she was, no way, Jose, you're not doing nude. Relax. Okay. You got to sit down. There's no nude photography, which is understandable because I was not able to even explain why I wanted to do it. And then years passed by and we divorced for different reasons. And finally, one day I'm living in that house. So I live in California, Los Angeles, in Woodland Hills. And I have this house where the living room is a little dark in the afternoon, the lack of light. And then I'm like, oh, this is dark. And I have a friend of mine, interior designer, that said, Zack, if you want, I can put gold leaves on that wall and make a gold wall out of it. So, those leaves, they're beaten. So 1 ounce of gold can be stretched into a 50-mile long wire. It's crazy, the property of gold, and still keep its properties because it's a great conductor of energy and electricity. But also up there, the aliens, the Pleiadians, they use gold to open portals. So gold is an extraordinary frequency. So in the 3D where we live here, 1 ounce of gold can be stretched into a 50-mile long wire or beaten into a leaf just 2 millionth of a centimeter thick. So if you were to take 1 ounce of gold, one coin, and you beat it up with a hammer, you can beat it up so thin, it's way thinner than a cigarette paper. It's way thinner than this, for example. And it would be literally 2 millionth of a centimeter thick. So they make
that. How is that? If I could just interrupt for a minute, how is that in comparison to other metals?
Metal. So the incredible power of gold is that even if it's really thin or really stretched, I don't know if you can imagine 1 ounce of gold, which is a coin, stretched into a 50-mile long wire. It's crazy. And keep its property. So the difference with other metal, to answer your question, is that
they don't keep their properties when you.
They don't keep their property. Yeah, this is the insane. It's nobody can understand that power. It's just insane.
Very cool.
It keeps the property like in any situation, basically. So when I paint people in gold, I have like regular metallic gold paint, and also do 24 karat paint. So you can be covered in 24 karat gold. And you're gonna get that vibration, like it's insane. Like I'm gonna talk in a minute about that. So They make the wall, it's beautiful, and then I click. I'm like, oh my god, this is my background. I'm gonna paint people in gold on that gold wall, and it's gonna be amazing. I'm gonna do gold on gold. And I do the first photo shoot. I hire a model, professional model. The photo shoot turns turned into a complete disaster. I was not happy with the pictures. It was my first shoot with those with the gold. I didn't know exactly what I was doing. I was still thinking, trying to figure it out, and it was not nice. Okay, but then here is the white rabbit from Matrix. When they tell you follow the white rabbit. 1 week later, I go to the biggest interior designer fair in the country that is here in Santa Monica. A friend of mine invites me, and I talked to a guy at the bar. It was really hot, I was getting some like sparkling water, and I start talking to a guy, and we talk, and we talk about Portugal because I used to live in Portugal. And he says after a while, he says, "What do you do?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know why." I said, "I'm the gold photographer. I shoot people in gold." And I was not. I shot one person in gold, and the photo shoot was a disaster. And he's like, "Oh, that's pretty cool, bro. You have some pictures of your work?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I take my iPhone. I had 5 pictures. I take my iPhone. I have 5 pictures of this girl. And he sees the pictures like, "Wow, you shot that?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, hold on. You need to stay here because you need to talk to my boyfriend. I'm like, "Okay." So he goes get the boyfriend. The boyfriend is an interior designer that is currently, we're talking 5 years ago, redesigning, we're talking 8 years ago. Oh my God. 8 years ago, yeah. 2016 now. Yeah, almost 9 years. And he's redesigning in Beverly Hills, a wine cellar, all gold and blue. And he says, "Oh my God, this is exactly what we need. Can you please print those pictures, 46 by 72 inches, huge." And then next thing you know, I have 4 of those pictures in a wine cellar. So this is the thing that told me, oh, maybe, the white rabbit, keep going. So I kept going, and eventually I got better. I got better at it. And I shot for 5 years roughly without knowing why, just because it looked cool. It was beautiful. So I can show you a little bit here. That's my coffee table book, The Sacred Frequency. So that's, for example.
I love these photos.
Yeah, so
stunning.
This is the couple. What do I have here? This is Yogi also, position, all in gold. And I have also, individuals and the girls again. So I kept going. Could be Yogi, and I decorate, like beauty salon in the UK. I have a 120 spa being decorated with my work. Pregnant woman in gold also. It's beautiful. There I can see them here. So anyways, I keep going. Yeah, this one is cool too. I'll just show you this one. Also, the black background is pretty amazing.
So no kidding, these photos, these images really do bring a different it's like the
Energy.
pictures speak to you. It's the energy, yes, that they
completely raises the vibration of the spot.
It does. It's
entirely
gorgeous.
It's complete. Yes, it's contagious. So I keep doing for 5 years because it looks cool, it's beautiful, and hire models, and I've been a healer also on the side for like maybe 30 years, doing Reiki, doing energy work on the back burner, sometimes on the front burner, depending. It's been with me for a long time. I'm a transformational breathwork too, so I have a very intense breathwork session that I do on Zoom. So if you have anybody in Texas interested, it's on Zoom. It's once or twice a month. It's very powerful. Anyways, so I mentioned that because of what I'm going to say later, I was able to combine all of it together. And so I do it for 5 years, right? It's beautiful. Models, dancers, yogi. And after that, 5 years later, I had a near-death experience. So like I always said, I don't like the term near-death because it didn't feel like I near died, even though I'm still here today. It really feels like you die. You actually die. You're gone. You are, that's it. You're not breathing anymore. You're like being. And I went upstairs. I met with the big guy upstairs that told me, "You're not done yet. Your job is to paint people in gold so they can awaken to their divine self." very powerful. And they sent me back, and I came back. And from that day on, my work, my art, my life took a complete different turn. Nothing had ever been the same ever since, because then I realized the power of gold. And being a Gemini rising Virgo, I'm a double Mercury. I don't know if you connect to astrology, April, but
I'm Gemini rising.
Oh, you are? What's your sign?
Taurus.
Oh, you're a Taurus.
Sun and moon in Taurus, Gemini rising.
Oh, sun and moon in Taurus. Oh,
I like my earthly things.
Yeah,
I like gold.
Yeah. Right, you like gold. Exactly. Me too. I mean, my rising Virgo, I'm very earthy with that. And so being like Virgo, and so Virgo and Gemini, they both managed and ruled by Mercury. So we need to understand it's a brain. So I'm like, okay, thank you for the encounter. Thank you for this great opportunity and telling me, what's my mission, what I'm supposed to do on Earth. But I need to understand. So I research and I research and I research and I research until my brain got fully satisfied, even if it's never, fully the case. And then I researched and I studied, and I realized that, like I was saying in the beginning, all the ancient civilizations, they all use gold to ascend. Only us in the Western world, we just know, the material value of gold. And if you go to India, for example, Hinduism, we love Hinduism, we love Ganesh, we love Shiva, we love Parvati, we love all of them. They have a ton of deities. If you go to India, and it's also, Hinduism, the oldest and continuously practiced religion in the world. The Vedas, which is 4 times the Bible, were written 500 BC before Christ, but they started 1500 BC. For 1,000 years, they didn't have a writing system, so they would transmit orally the Vedas. I don't know if you can imagine that. People would actually memorize it, 4 times the Bibles, and transmit it orally to people that would equally, memorize. It's crazy. And 500 BC, they finally have in India a writing system, so they write it down. So the oldest and continuously practiced religion in the world. If you go to India, the temples are covered in gold, not to show opulence, but to attract divine energy, to purify the soul, and bring enlightenment, which is, the ultimate spiritual achievement, enlightenment. So that's one. And 2, if you study, if you look a little more into the vast literature of Hinduism, so you have the Rig Veda, you have the Upanishads, you have like so many, so the Upanishads is the chants, the hymns. They have 1,028 chants divided in 10 different books, just that. Imagine memorizing, and that's crazy. And in the Rig Veda, there is the notion of Hiranyagarbha. So follow me. Hiranyagarbha means in Sanskrit, the golden egg or the golden womb. And in the text, it says that everything originates from the golden egg or the golden womb and comes back. So they call it the golden divine matrix, and goes back to gold. So according to Vedic sages in Hinduism, everything comes from gold, us included, and everything returns to gold. Everything is pure gold in the golden divine matrix. So that tells you the power of gold. And for them, it's really they have a lot of respect and a lot of reverence for gold. Of course. And in Buddhism, so Buddhism was born from Hinduism, right? Because Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, was born in 563 BC in full Hinduism. His dad was a king. And his dad was told by a Vedic sage, your son, my king, will become either a great king or a spiritual leader that will travel the world. And of course, the king was happy to have an heir finally. And so he kept his son in the kingdom locked for 29 years. So he was locked. He was not locked. He had a beautiful, like prince life. But then when he finally got out of the kingdom, he discovered poverty. He saw a dead body for the first time, people starving, somebody, like meditating. And then he realized the power of the pain that people would actually, because it's also a power when you experiment pain and misery in your life. And the whole story of the Buddha is like, get out of the misery, and you can ascend and you can eventually, awaken. So that's what he did. He refused the crown. He left the kingdom, and then he started to meditate, and he became the Buddha. And so now, very important in Hinduism back then, they used to say, in order to be enlightened, you need to be part of the elite, and you need to worship. And then he said, you don't need to be part of the elite, even though he was part of the elite himself. But I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to teach you guys. There was a lot of poor people. You can imagine 563 BC in India. And you don't need to worship, and you need to turn the light inward. You are it. And he became the Buddha, and he created Buddhism. So it's very powerful, very beautiful. And in Buddhism, gold is the pinnacle of spiritual aspiration and the act of dedicating material wealth to pursue spiritual enlightenment. This is how in Buddhism they look at gold. So it's very, very powerful. It's really an ascensional tool for them that is very important. And this is just Hinduism and Buddhism, because we're talking like this is really current.
It's very apparent that you definitely did your research, and you have so much knowledge in this, Zack. And I agree with you. I would have done the same thing. If you get this incredible message, divine message to you, that this is what you are supposed to, in fact, do, for others, to help others ascend, then you want to know as much about it as possible. So digging deeper into, well, what does history say? What do we know about this already? So thank you so much for sharing that. We're going to go into our first commercial, and when we get back, I can't wait to go over all of the ways that you lead and guide the clients that you have through this experience, because it's more than just painting the body gold. Stay tuned. Are you ready to take control of your ride to wellness? Rev up with Driven Living. Visit www.drivenliving.com and buckle up for a journey. Get exclusive access to our Wellness Driven Life Show guest portal, where you can dive deep into the minds of our esteemed guests. Sign up for our newsletter and get insider scoops on these distinguished personalities. It's like having a backstage pass to their life-changing wisdom. But that's not all. You'll also receive a free hug. You heard me right, a free hug. An enlightening ebook from the Driven Living team. Discover the science-backed benefits of hugging yourself. It's a fill-up for your wellness tank. Because at Driven Living, we believe in fueling your journey to wellness, both physically and psychologically. So what are you waiting for? Visit www.drivenliving.com today. Welcome back, everyone. Here with Zack Zublena, and we're having an incredible conversation about gold and how it helps us ascend. There's so many different things that we don't know and can learn. And as I love to, Zack, I don't know if you know, but I love to do guided meditations. And many of us who go in that direction, who like to guide people, to the inner self, we learn about all of the different ways and tactics that we can help visualize and lead people to that. Now, the golden light is a very powerful one, and it's one that many people utilize. So you'll picture that golden light above your head and just enveloping your body and healing properties of that. So it's a very common tool and technique that we use. And you too guide people through breath work, through meditation, it's more of this spiritual experience that they have with you. It's not just a photo shoot. So do you mind explaining a little bit about the process and how you lead people through it?
Yeah, actually, it's funny you mentioned that, April. Every morning at 7 a.m., I do every single morning, 7 a.m. during the week and 8 a.m. in the weekend. I do a special ISIS golden healing meditation every day on Zoom. And particularly right now for a little girl that has a brain tumor, she's 9 years old. And we are a group of people. And I do also at night, I also do 7:30 p.m., but it's different at night. But in the morning, it's a golden meditation, and gold being the strongest, power and the most magnificent energy. It corresponds to the 12th ray of light, and it's also matching the 22D. The 22D is the 22nd dimension, is God's dimension, and everything is gold. And I've done several trips in plant medicine, under plant medicine in the jungle over the past 4 or 5 years after this communication I had. Let's call it a communication 5 years ago, that I been myself there really, really high. And what happens is that I haven't been able to go inside because only the ascended masters are there. But that's what I saw and that's what I felt. And then we can bring back this gold here. And when I studied Mesopotamian, so Mesopotamia is, we're talking 3500 BC, right? A long time ago. It's currently Iran, Iraq, Turkey, Kuwait, Syria. And back then it was a region, a beautiful region. And Mesopotamia is the cradle of civilization. Those guys were not kidding around. They invented like croppings, the invention of the wheel, the planting of crops, the time, for example, like the first solar watch. They invented the first system of writing 400 years before the Egyptians. So they were very advanced. And very advanced, brilliant civilization, absolutely brilliant. And the Sumerians and the Akkadians that dominated Mesopotamia from nearly 3100 BC, they revered gold not only for its purity and its beauty, but for its deep spiritual significance. And to them, it was a material imbued with divine energy. And for them, it was always, and that's something to remember from this podcast and from my message, is that in all those ancient civilizations, gold is connected to the sun, right? And very often in those civilizations, so the sun is God, okay? So for example, in Mesopotamia, the sun god was Shamash, also known as Utu, the sun god of truth and justice. The Incas, they had Inti. Inti was the sun god, and Mamakia, the sun goddess, which was actually Inti's wife. So they all connect the gold for them, gold is a manifestation of the divine on earth, right? So that's the way, the easiest way I explain it. That's what I feel, and that's what I saw in my different trips that I had. So you have the sun, right? And I recommend people to do sun gazing every day. I do sun gazing, 30 seconds, 45 seconds every morning, early in the morning or at night, not during the day. You can do 45 seconds, 30 seconds more if you can, hold it. You can build up to, 2 minutes because you get the code. So the sun is very powerful. So you have the sun and you have God, right? The God's God, whoever God is for you, whatever your religion is. We're not talking religions here. If you believe in a God or the universe, whatever you want to call it, and the sun is here. And all those very wise and very advanced civilizations, they all related to gold. So look at my hands. Imagine on top here is God, for example, and on top here is the sun, right? And what do you have here on earth where my hands meet? You have gold. That's the only thing we have on the 3D where we live is the gold, because God is out there, right? You can pray, you can meditate, you can feel it in your heart. You can go to church, you can go to a mosque, whatever your religion is, to a temple, and you can connect really with God, okay? But it's never going to be like here. Like, for example, my book is right here. This is, tangible, let's say. The sun is up there. I can do sun gazing, but the sun is up there. It's not right here. The only common point that you can have those two elements, the sun and God with you, is manifested in gold that is on the 3D, right here, available to us. So I tell people, look at it like a piece of cheesecake, right? Let's say that's a piece of cheesecake or a pecan pie, whatever you like best. How do you want that pie, of course you want that pie. You know, who doesn't want to connect with the sun and the gods, oh God, and gold? So how do you enter that triangle? With gold, through gold. And that's how the divine connection is being made. That's the power of it. And when I studied also the Incas, it was just incredible because the Incas, so 15th century, right? We're not talking 4500 BC. We're talking right now, 700 years ago. In the Andes, they had emperors. So it was a beautiful civilization. They had 18 emperors over the course of 100 years, right? The emperors were called the Sapa Inca. They were always decked out in gold to show their connection there with Inti, the sun god, showing that they were people would think they were half god, half human. Okay, very, very powerful connection. And to them, gold was sacred. And in the Inca people, they would make everyday objects with gold, spiritual object like ceremony object. That's what they would use gold for. It was a very sacred material. It was not so much of a material value, which was largely taken advantage of, obviously, by the conquistadors when they came 1532, and they stole everything. It was, because for them it was like a sacred material. And as a matter of fact, to prove this, if you were the lucky owner of feathers of a bird called the kestal, beautiful blue, dark green, gold shimmering feathers, you could go to the market with those feathers and you would come back with goods and foods and stuff like that, not so much with gold, which is incredible today. But in some of the Mesoamerica civilizations, that was the case. So it's crazy because even Mesoamerica, not only the Incas, but even in Colombia, for example, ritual specialists, they take gold outside in the sun during the day, so the gold could actually recharge its spiritual power during the day, just like we take our crystals, at full moon outside. So that's how much like, imagine us. No, who does that? We don't do that. You know what I mean? You're not going to take your gold, your ring, or whatever outside so it can recharge its power. Well, you should, because that's the way it works. And if we look at all those civilizations in Mesoamerica, we're talking the Aztecs, the Toltecs before them, or even the lesson on Olmecs or the Zapotecs that created one of the earliest form of writing in Mesoamerica. We're talking 10 civilizations. They left a legacy of very advanced societal structures, remarkable, like monumental cultural achievements. And we're talking about like a significant contribution to history, very advanced. If you look at Machu Picchu, Machu Picchu, no one knows how they built it. It's on top of a mountain. It's crazy. The Incas did that. Pachacuti, the 8th emperor, took care of that. On top of a mountain, 15th century. The block of stones, each block of stone is several tons. If you go today, you visit it, they all still perfectly aligned. They had no mortar. They had no iron. All they found is copper. Copper is a very soft metal. You don't cut those stones with copper. It's impossible. It's on top of the mountain. We're talking 200 to 300 buildings. The water engineering system was coming from down the mountain, 7,000 feet, and it's still working. I mean, it's just we don't know how they did it. That's what I mean. That's what I mean by very advanced civilizations. People ask me sometimes, why the Incas? Because of Machu Picchu. Why did you talk about the Egyptians? Because of the pyramids. We're not talking castle in the skies. If you fly to Cusco in Peru tomorrow, you'll visit the Machu Picchu. If you go to Egypt, the pyramids are there. You know what I mean? It's serious. And in Mesoamerica, so I was saying very advanced societal structures, they left a legacy incredible. It's just like unbelievable. What do they tell us about gold? All of them. They tell you gold is a manifestation of the divine. All of them. You can chat GPT that immediately. They tell you it's a way to connect to a supernatural world. And that's how you get super powerful for yourself, for your ascension?
Well, we are so many people. Well, obviously the audience here on the Wellness Driven Life Show, we all seek to express ourselves in a higher light. It's that evolution of all of us getting to a different piece of ourselves. When the physical becomes so mundane and so dark and heavy, we seek something else, and we want ways of doing so that make sense, right? That have worked for so long that we haven't really been in tune to. And you've done an extensive amount of research with this. Now, you have written a book, so I'm going to bring you back in. If you want to show the audience your book, do you have a lot of this research within the sacred?
Everything is in there. The sacred frequency of gold, Ganesh, our friend Ganesh, and one of my art piece in there. It's called Humanity's Blueprint for Awakening.
Perfect. Just what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles and all that. But what I tell people is like, well, number one, you can join my free meditation every day at 7 a.m. It's every day 7 a.m. every weekend at 8. And I guide you into the gold meditation through the goddess Isis, because I love her and very connected to her too. First thing is like drop into your heart. In my book, there's a chapter, how to get from the monkey mind to the monk mind. And it's not a pun. You can do it. And I did it. And drop into your heart. And you see that your heart flows like a river. And your space becomes panoramic, unimpeded. You know what I mean? We remove the mask. That's what we do every morning. It's remove the mask. Remove the mask. Be no one. Be nobody, because when you become nobody, you have to become so ordinary, so ordinary, so ordinary that eventually you become extraordinary. Because that's when you have access to everything by being nothing. So it's a little bit of a work, but everybody can do it. And we do it every morning. And then I know after that, we go back in the hustle and bustle, we go back in their life, but you carry that light in your heart. And you do carry that light in your heart. And that's the goal connection. That's the thread.
Well, you start it in the morning. And I say that very often is if you're going to create new habits, or if you're going to really get a good start in the day, start early. Yes. So I love that you do this in the morning for everyone to really sink into that heart center and to carry that light.
Too, I love to share. It has so much more power when we do it together, all of us. It's sometimes like 3 people in the 7 a.m., it's okay. But we're doing it. We're doing the work, we in times of like darkness, sometimes we don't really know what we're going, what's going on in our personal life. And then you have the government, and then you have the society, and then you have the corporation, and then you have your boss, and then you have your coworker, and maybe school, maybe memories or traumas, from childhood, maybe abandonment, betrayal, humiliation, injustice, rejection. I specialize in those 5 too. I know, human being experience. We're here to have this human being experience. Let's have it. You know what I mean? We're going to have the trauma. And my mom said that. And my daughter doesn't talk to me. And I'm divorced. And I had 2 bankruptcies or whatever. It's like I see people every day. I'm like, okay, how about we drop into the heart?
Yeah.
And we connect, and this is what really matters. You're not here. You are here. You are here. And this is the truth. And it's happening here, right here in your heart. And this is the truth. And the more you do it consciously, the more you become the heart. And the less you function with the monkey mind. And the monkey mind is here to be tamed. The monkey. It's what it does. A monkey does the monkey, right? But you can tame the monkey to the point where, okay, I need an information. So it's like, I need information. Tell me what happened. I can't remember exactly when I was in those vacations in Bali in 2006. Okay, get me the file. He comes, get me the file. Here is the file. Okay, sit. Boom. And that's what I want from them. And you can do that. And that's what monks do in Himalayas, in the mountains, in India. That's how you tame the monkey. It's easier for them because they never saw a water and power bills. They're not stressed out by life like we are in the Western world. You know what I mean? But we can live in our world here and stay focused on our work and be present with your family, be present with your kids, be present in your environment, but still operate from here. You can operate from your heart and quit that. And then your heart literally flows like a river, and we see each other, and we can communicate with each other. And it's a complete different communication. There's no mask. You don't show up with a bag of tricks. You know what I mean? You don't judge anymore. So the minute you don't judge, there's no bag of tricks. It's a complete different person.
I love that you bring that to the community, to the world. It's such a fabulous time that we live in, where we can access each other and help each other rise up and access those points of ourselves. So, Zack, you've been an incredible guest on the Wellness Driven Life Show. I want to make sure you are so welcome.
I'm so honored.
I love your work. And maybe I'll make that a point to one day come and experience that, because it truly is that's like on a bucket list experience. I mean, how cool would that be? And so thank you for your work and for bringing that to us.
Of course. So I didn't talk so much about the experience itself, but honestly, being painted in gold, you really, truly, and I understand the message, you really awaken to your divine self. There's something happens because we do it through breath work. We do it from all kind of transformational modalities. And then when we paint you in gold, you are ready to really see the divine self. And then with those amazing pictures, fine art photography, you can really grab here. I love this one too. You can really immortalize this moment, and when you see that in your living room or in your bedroom or wherever you want, you can remember like an anchor. We anchor that day. It becomes very special because this is you. You were there that day. You know what I mean? And everything changed from that point on. It's really phenomenal. And then we keep going. We follow up with the meditation, with other modalities also, and it's an amazing experience. I'm so honored. I was literally, guided to do that here. Yeah.
Beautiful. Absolutely stunning, beautiful work.
Thank you.
And very apparently divinely guided. So again, thank you. I want to make sure everyone knows where to find you. For those of you watching, we've had it displayed here on the screen throughout the show. And for those of you listening in, zackzublena.com, easy peasy. It is in the description below. So be sure to check out his website, the profile, the contact, and even better yet, the meditations. My gosh, be joining that. And yes,
7 a.m. every day. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you, Zack, for being our guest on the
thank you, April. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. And thank you to our audience, because without you, the show wouldn't be possible. So goodbye for now, and we will see you next time.
Goodbye. Thank you, April.